Good morning, everyone. So today we'll be continuing our reading of the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, 7th chapter, verse 36. I'll put it in the chat in case anyone comes in late to 7:36. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should first offer humble obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto the author Srila Vyasadeva. Nasta prayesha bhadreshu nityam bhagavati sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. All right. Good morning. So, just to reiterate, we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 7, verse 36. Kale namilita diyam avamrishya nirnam.
Kale namilita diyam avamrishyaniram.
Stokayusham svanigamo batadurapara.
Stokayusham swanigamo vatadurapara.
Avirhitastvanu sahya satyavatyam.
Avirhitastvanu sahi satyavatyam.
Vedadrumam vitapasho vibhajishyati sma.
Vedadrumam vitapasho vibhajishyati sma.
Kalena milita diyam avamrishya nrinam.
Kalena milita diyam avamrishyaniram.
Stokayusham svanigamo batadurapara.
Stokayusham swanigamo vatadurapara.
Avirhitastvanu yugam sahi satyavatyam.
Avirhitastvanu yugam sahi satyavatyam.
Vedadrumam vitapasho vibhajishyati sma.
Vedadrumam vitapasho vibhajishyati sma.
Kalena milita diyam avamrishya nrinam.
Kalena milita diyam avamrishyaniram.
Stokayusham svanigamo batadurapara.
Stokayusham swanigamo vatadurapara.
Avirhitastvanu yugam sahi satyavatyam.
Avirhitastvanu yugam sahi satyavatyam.
Vedadrumam vitapasho vibhajishyati sma.
Vedadrumam vitapasho vibhajishyati sma.
Kalena.
Kalena.
Anyone want to recite?
Kalena milita diyam avamrishyaniram.
Kalena milita diyam avamrishya nrinam.
Stokayusham Swanigamo Vatadurapara.
Stokayusham Swanigamo Vatadurapara.
Avirhitasvanuyugam Sahisatyavatyam.
Avirhitasvanuyugam sahisatyavatyam.
Veda drumam vitapasho vivayishyati sma.
Veda drumam vitapasho vivajisyati sma.
Kalena milita diyamma vimrishyamyunam.
Kalena milita diyam avamrishyanrinam.
Stokayusam swanigamo vatadurapara.
Stokayusham swanigamo vatadurapara.
Avirtasvanuyugam sahisatyavatyam.
Aviritasvanuyugam sahisatyavatyam.
Veda drumam vitapasho vipajishyati sma.
Veda drumam vitapasho vipavishyati sma.
Kalena milita diyam avamishyanvinam.
Kalena milita diyam amaprisyanrinam.
Stokayusham swanigamo vatadurapara.
Stokayasam swanigamo vatadurapara.
Avirhitas tvanuyugam sahisatyavatyam.
Aviritasva anuyagam sahisatyavatyam.
Veda drumam vitapasho vibhajishyati sma.
Veda lumam vitapasho vivijishyati sma. Kalena milita diyam avamrishyanrinam.
Kalena milita diyam avamishyanvinam.
Stokayusam svanigamo vatadurapara.
Stokayusham swanigamo vatadurapara.
Aviritastva anuyam sahisatyavatyam.
Avirhitas tvanuyugam sahisatyavatyam.
Veda drumam vitapasho vivajishyati sma.
Veda drumam vitapasho vibhajishyati sma.
Anybody else online like to read? Okay, we'll start with the word for word. Kalena,
Kalena.
in course of time.
In course of time.
Milita, diyam,
Milita diyam.
of the less intelligent persons.
Of the less intelligent persons.
Avamrishya,
Avamrishya.
considering the difficulties.
Considering the difficulties.
Nrinam,
Narayan.
of the humanity at large.
Of the humanity at large.
Stoka ayusham,
Stokayusham.
of the short-living persons.
Of the short-living persons.
Swanigama,
Swanigama.
the Vedic literatures compiled by him.
The Vedic literatures compiled by him.
Bata,
Bata.
exactly.
Exactly.
Dura para,
Durapada.
greatly difficult.
Greatly difficult.
Difficult.
Avirhita,
Avirita.
having appeared as.
Having appeared
As.
To,
Two.
but.
but
Anuyugam,
Anuyugam.
in terms of the age.
In terms of
age.
Sa,
Sa.
he the Lord.
He
The Lord.
He,
He.
certainly.
Certainly.
Satyavatyam,
Satyavatyam.
in the womb of Satyavati.
In the womb of Satyavati.
Veda Druman,
Veda Drumam.
the desire tree of the Vedas.
The desire tree of the Vedas.
Vita Pasha,
Nisabasha.
by division of branches.
By division of branches.
Vibhajishyati,
Vivajishati.
will divide.
will
Will divide.
Sma,
Sma.
as it were.
As it were.
Translation. The Lord himself, in his incarnation as the son of Satyavati, Vyasadeva, will consider his compilation of the Vedic literature to be very difficult for the less intelligent persons with short life, and thus he will divide the tree of Vedic knowledge into different branches according to the circumstances of the particular age. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Herein, Brahma mentions the future compilation of Srimad Bhagavatam for the short-lived persons of the Kali age. As explained in the first canto, the less intelligent persons of the age of Kali would be not only short-lived, but perplexed with so many problems of life due to the awkward situation of the godless human society. Advancement of material comforts of the body is activity in the mode of ignorance according to the law of material nature. Real advancement of knowledge means progress of knowledge and self-realization. But in the age of Kali, the less intelligent men mistakenly consider the short lifetime of 100 years, now factually reduced to about 40 or 60 years, to be all in all. They are less intelligent because they have no information of the eternity of life. They identify with the temporary material body existing for 40 years and consider it to be the only basic principle of life. Such persons are described as equal to the asses and bulls, but the Lord, as the compassionate Father of all living beings, imparts unto them the vast Vedic knowledge in short treatises like the Bhagavad Gita, and for the graduates, the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Puranas and the Mahabharata are also similarly made by Vyasadeva for the different types of men in the modes of material nature, but none of them are independent of the Vedic principles. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunamalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Pancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Yevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhaktari Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharina Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashita Asta. So, the Lord himself, in his incarnation as the son of Satyavati, Vyasadeva, will consider his compilation of the Vedic literature to be very difficult for the less intelligent persons with short life, and thus he will divide the tree of Vedic knowledge into different branches according to the circumstances of the particular age. So I don't know who this is for, because I'm definitely not a less intelligent person, and my life is very long, I'm sure. But just, I'll honor it anyways. So yeah, we're reading about scheduled incarnations of the Supreme Divine Being, Sri Krishna, and their specific functions. So here we're being given some insight into Srila Vyasadeva, into what is often referred to as the literary incarnation of Krishna. So, yeah, I've personally definitely noticed that there is a part of this like false ego within me that rejects this notion of like when Srila Prabhupada says something like, less intelligent persons, short life, like I reject that could be about me. And I grew up around people, devotees referencing less intelligent persons and karmis, and I remember there was definitely a part of me, and maybe there's still a part of me that would be like, they're the less intelligent persons, right? Not me. And now, I'm slowly evolving into the understanding that this is for me, that Krishna, out of his compassion, has manifested knowledge, wisdom about the purpose of life, the real bliss and joy in life through his empowered devotee and incarnation, Srila Vyasadeva. So Vyas, my understanding is Vyas means to divide, to arrange, and diffuse, like share. So this division of the Vedas, this organization and arrangement of the Vedas, is done so expertly by Srila Vyasadeva in order to meet us where we're at, journeying as part and parcels of Krishna, as consciousness, growing, evolving. We're being met where we're at by Srila Vyasadeva through his sharing of this wisdom. And Vyasadeva himself, he comes from a line of pure devotees, and he's very wise, and so he compiles the Vedanta Sutras, all the Vedas, and he's dissatisfied because just in those treatises and the Vedanta Sutras is so much knowledge, kind of unfathomable from a human perspective to just kind of like come upon these concepts. We think about thousands of years ago, yogis understanding the vast multiverse and having understanding of consciousness beyond the body, of there being a distinction between the body, the mind, the spirit. So all these things are within Sankhya, within the breakup of material nature. We can think of it as physics, science, like deeply scientific wisdom and understanding of reality. So we're being given this by Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva is very dissatisfied with this because he can empathize with us, and he understands that in this age, as we further along in the devolution of the planet of consciousness, that we tend to be more distracted. We tend to be have less capacity for memorizing, for comprehending complex things, and this is a pretty radical perspective if we consider the maybe the general agreed upon narrative of humanity as a upward curve in evolution and intelligence and in progress. But really, if I take a look at even my own life, like just how many more distractions there are just in my own life, in my short 30 plus years, there's so much more clutter. There's so much more clutter. There's so much more pollution. There's so much adversity in terms of having like real clear consciousness and intelligence. There's so much constant distraction on my phone, this thing, that thing, this political thing. Like the world, we rave about how much more the world is interconnected, and globalization and technological miracles in food production and all these things. But what is the real result if we look at it scientifically? There's more pollution. There's perhaps more disconnection than ever between families, between societies, between just like polar opposites views, and so much dissatisfaction, so much depression, so much addiction. So this I can clearly see just within my own lifetime, not an evolution and this like going into this utopia that being given to us by microchips, but yeah, actually quite the opposite. So this is the cosmological model and the model of evolution that we're given through the Vedas, and we're incentivized to really focus on the subjective evolution of our own consciousness, purifying our consciousness, in order to not just to liberate ourselves from the suffering of the material context, but to experience true bliss. Because naturally, that's what we all want. We all want to experience joy, bliss, purpose, fulfillment. So Srila Vyasadeva, he knows that just by giving us all of this Sankhya, all this like philosophical understanding and beautiful, miraculous, vast knowledge, that we won't truly be fully blissful and satisfied. And neither is he. So he is in despair around this. He feels like, maybe you all can relate to maybe accomplishing something and something's missing. You feel dissatisfied, and he's kind of like despondent. And so by the grace of his guru, Narada Muni, he's given instruction to share about the deepest fulfillment of consciousness, the deepest fulfillment of love, and he's given this vision of the supreme divine love between Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, and his beloveds, the gopis and the gopas, and so he's fully realized in what is the true purpose and fulfillment of the spirit soul. So that ripened fruit of all the Vedas is given by him as the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I want to read a little bit, just the intro to the Bhagavatam, so that we can get a little bit of understanding of Vyasadeva, because something that's a little confusing to me is like he's the compiler of the Vedas, but he's like, because we're talking about cycles of time and beings who are so clear in consciousness that they can see back in time and forward in time and are present in the eternal present. A lot of the chronology is challenging to understand from like just a linear perspective. So because Vyasadeva is referenced here by Brahma, that he will compile the Vedas, but it's like referenced within the Bhagavatam. So it's kind of an interesting perspective. So I wanted to just enter into Vyasadeva's mood a little bit by reading from the first few verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavatam starts, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadhyasya yato nayaditaratas chartasva vidyagasvarat Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Varimritam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Damnasvina Sada Nirasta Kukam Satyam Param Dhimahi. O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Ramaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire, or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes, temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. And the translation for verse 2 is, completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. So here, it's really emphasized how the point of all knowledge, of all religion, of all philosophy is awakening this love of God that lies dormant within all of us. That is our birthright, that is within every living being, within every spark of life, not just human, not black, not white, within everything, within every tree, living being. And ultimately, within everything is Krishna. And reveal this love, to have this love revealed for us through the transparent via medium of Vyasadeva, is a privilege and shows the compassion of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada, Guru within our parampara, they're all seen as representatives of Vyasadeva, who are ultimately all seen as representatives of Krishna, direct representatives of Krishna. Shakshad Hari, equal to, on the same platform as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why is this so? So there are many commentaries on the Vedanta Sutras. There are very many philosophies. There are many translations of the Bhagavad Gita. So why should we be interested in Srila Prabhupada, in Srila Vyasadeva? And if we want to discover this blissful love, this devotion towards the Supreme, then it makes the most sense to follow those who live in that mood of service, of devotion, not in a platform of merely philosophizing for the sake of intellectual status or entertainment or convenience, purely enjoyment. They're showing us that we can trust them through the example of their their continuous devotion. So if that's something you're interested in, if we're interested in devotion, in a personal exchange, then we should really follow in the footsteps of these devotees, listen to their teachings. And they give us always this example of receiving, of humbly receiving guidance. So even Srila Vyasadeva, such a high personality, he's receiving guidance from Narada Muni, his spiritual master. He receives knowledge from the four Kumaras and Narada Muni and others, but Narada Muni, we can see he becomes a devotee by, as he tells Vyasadeva, he discovered his devotional essence as he took the remnants from the plates of other devotees, and as he listened to other devotees, that love for Krishna naturally awakened within him. So then he's fanning that spark within Vyasadeva, and in turn Vyasadeva is fanning that spark within us. So if we really want to experience that divine love, that essence of our being, then we endeavor to remove whatever obstacles might be in the way of that fan that's coming, that is that's made more and more powerful by each pure devotee. Just like Sukadeva Goswami, as the son of Vyasadeva, he speaks the Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, who's only a few days from passing, and Sukadeva Goswami makes the Bhagavatam even sweeter. Just like Srila Prabhupada, in his giving us the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he's making, he's infusing it with his devotion and making it even sweeter, but never changing it, never shifting the underlying philosophy and absolute truth within, and never taking away, as others who may not be in that stage of pure devotion, never taking away from Krishna, always worshiping through every word, through every purport, always endeavoring to praise, to rejoice, to love Krishna and awaken that within us. Not, if we look at other translations, other interpretations, we can see sometimes a subtle and sometimes a not so subtle desire to depart from, like worshiping God as a person is, that's a concoction because we want to have a person. But we could maybe entertain that, but I can look at it also as, that's clear, like envy, that's clear jealousy. That limitation comes from that embedded jealousy, which Vyasadeva doesn't have, which Srila Prabhupada doesn't have. So then we can trust them to give us a direct experience of Krishna, to not pollute, change with any interpretation. So, the purport here, Srila Prabhupada stresses the limitations, the limitations of our current bodies, the limitations of our current minds. So, these things are very limited if we see how fragile we are, and how unexpectedly this lifetime can end. Whether we go outside and have an accident or fall ill, it can happen so quickly, even if it's by natural causes. This life just goes by in a few blinks. So this really lends to the importance of Srila Vyasadeva, this incarnation and his function. because Vyasadeva gives us the opportunity to be who we are, to not need to like we don't need to drop our desire to enjoy. We don't need to pretend we're like this austere yogi that can suddenly go from, being completely engrossed in Western material life or any material life to like this austere yogi just meditating in a cave. We're not expected to do that. Srila Vyasadeva, Srila Prabhupada, Vyasadeva gives us the Mahabharata, right? So the Mahabharata is like the best telenovela ever. I'm from South America, and we have, as most people know, there's like really dramatic novellas, and people get like so captured by these things. And yeah, we have this desire for entertainment, for drama. So Srila Vyasadeva is giving us the Mahabharata, he's giving us the Srimad Bhagavatam, which have so much entertainment, so much drama, so much intellectual stimulation, all these things we desire. And within all of it is infused bhakti, is infused like all of this wisdom and knowledge about loving service to the divine. So we're given a process by which we can really progress gradually, not go into overstretching, snapping, even though that may still happen. It's a tendency I have, and it's somewhat common. But we're really given every opportunity to meet ourselves where we're at, and to enjoy food, to realize that, actually, like, food tastes the best, and I have the best experience of food, and I feel most vitalized when first, like, I offer it to Krishna and I cook it with love and devotion. Like, wow, it becomes prasadam. It's not even food anymore. It's like a transformative experience. So we're not told like, oh, you have to just like fast from now on. It's like, no, there's this, it's like tantra, this like Vaishnav tantra, this like sadhana is about engaging our senses. Our practice is about engaging our senses, but in a way that purifies them, that gradually elevates our consciousness, clears our consciousness. So we want to smell nice things, so we offer incense to Krishna. We offer that beautiful smell to Krishna, and then when we enjoy it, it's purifying. It's not just another stimulation that has us caught in the same cycle of desiring something, getting it, being dissatisfied, getting more and more entangled in things. No, we're given opportunities to enjoy in a way that elevates, in a way that gives us more and more freedom, in a way that brings up more and more joy, fulfillment, purpose. So Srila Vyasadeva is so compassionate in this way that he gives us the Bhagavad Gita. Vyasadeva is woven into so much of the Gita. Like he compiles the Mahabharata, but he's a crucial part of the Mahabharata because he's the father of Dhritarashtra and Pandu, who are the father of the Pandavas and the Kurus. So he has like intimate knowledge of this. He's placed there by Krishna as, he's a part of this Leela. He's intimately connected with the players in this setting of the Bhagavad Gita, which sets the stage for Krishna to give us so much understanding, to share with Arjuna divine knowledge. So Srila Vyasadeva is such a unique and beautiful incarnation of Krishna. He's given really so much responsibility and opportunities to relish with Krishna as his incarnation and associate, and he gives us so much in this way. And and another reason why this like segmentation organization of the philosophy is so important is because that we also, in that same vein of having a tendency to stretch or maybe go beyond where we're really at to our I know my ego can push me to want to be somewhere where I'm not, to look a certain way. So that tendency in the most subtle way, can push us to, even for the sake of devotion and bhakti, we may like cheapen that experience, and we can easily become offensive and hurt our progress by jumping ahead and being like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, it's all about love, and I love God, and I love you and I do, and I'm a pure devotee, and I love Krishna, and that could be true, but if we jump to that place without going through a process, then more than likely it's actually a detriment to prema, to divine love, to really serving Krishna. It can become a really subtle way that we're trapped in a self-serving cycle that just pushes us deeper into ignorance and dissatisfaction. So Srila Vyasadeva, really, again, meeting us where we're at gives us an opportunity to evolve through dharma, like pious activities, aligning with purpose, artha, economic development, giving us, there's Vedic wisdom on, how to properly develop as a human being. The path to, I don't remember the exact quote, but Dear mentioned it the other day, like the path through God consciousness, saintlyhood is through adulthood. There's a song I really love in Spanish where it's like, to get to God, we must first learn to be human. So we're given, the Vedas really beautifully and scientifically give us ways to perform activities that are purifying, to develop in abundance, economically, to satisfy our senses, and to liberate ourselves from the stresses of the material condition, and from like that platform of sattva, of goodness, of not being so tormented by our lack or our desires, by fulfilling our needs and wants in a gradual, grounded way that's connected with our spiritual nature, then we can naturally blossom. Then that inherent love of Godhead within us can blossom and open. So and we're really fortunate to be given that progressive path, and the how neatly it's organized. And Srila Prabhupada really also gives, as he puts in here, for the Bhagavad Gita and for graduates, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So there's clearly a progression, and at the same time, this it's also not rigid. Like we're also encouraged to read Krishna Lila and absorb ourselves and endeavor to absorb ourselves in the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his loving exchanges with his eternal associates, and to discover these eternal pastimes and to endeavor to relish them. We're also being given these seeds that can begin to awaken more and more of that love. And my sense is also like there's this like urgency, and there's this urgency that the devotees have to give us all of these seeds, so we can start in the beginning, and we can endeavor to do pious things, have nice, compassionate relationships with those around us, with our environment, meditate, chant mantra, do these things. And at the same time, like we're given the highest conception. We're given a peek into something so beyond I know where I'm at, and yet I see this as so merciful and as a testament to their desire to help us and their compassion and their urgency to wake us up. Wake up, you're suffering so much, you feel so much disconnection, and you don't even know that, and now maybe you're starting to feel that, and now wake up, look at this beautiful reality. And yeah, if we look at the Bhagavatam as the ripened fruit of Vyasadev's expression, of Vyasadev's realization that he gives to us, we can see Srila Prabhupada, just to reiterate some of what I've been talking about with progression, even Srila Prabhupada is this pure being, purely devoted. He gives us this example of, going into family life, developing a successful business as a pharmacist, then devoting himself fully to the study and writing of these sacred texts, and then to fully sharing this so expertly, beautifully, joyfully, in a surrendered way, and then manifesting this pastime as a frail old man in this dying body, this body that is just skin and bones. And what's he doing? What's his final expressions? He's giving purports on Krishna Lila, on these highest things. So sometimes we mention, these philosophers, these yogis, Srila Prabhupada, this erudite scholar, world-traveling monk who, accomplished so much. What's he doing? What's the most important thing to him? What's he doing in his last moments in that pastime with us? Is he's sharing about Krishna. He's giving us these peeks into Krishna, enjoying with his devotees. So yeah, I'll read the translation one more time. The Lord himself, in his incarnation as the son of Satyavati, will consider his compilation of the Vedic literature to be very difficult for the less intelligent persons with short life, and thus he will divide the tree of Vedic knowledge into different branches, according to the circumstances of the particular age. Srila Vyasadeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I welcome your comments, questions, challenges.
It's funny that you spoke about the cream of the evolution, being intelligent man of the modern world. It's really, if we could get that, it's really not the case in so many ways, even comparing in one lifetime. So what to speak, even a little more than that, the life of our parents or grandparents. It will be so easy to be humble, but then because we have that notion that we are the cream of the cream, then we are struggling with humility. Humility is, we prefer to humiliate ourselves. We prefer to constantly put pressure on ourselves to be that big person, that austere person, that truthful person, that clean person, that intelligent person. That, we put so much pressure on ourselves that's really unnecessary, just because we are not able to accept what Srila Prabhupada again and again bring home. That, we are less intelligent, we are not clean, we are quarreling all the time for nothing.
Mhm.
We're just jealous, we are envious, we are greedy, we, like all the long list.
Mhm.
And that feels so liberating to
Mhm.
come to a place like, oh yes, that's true. Let me give up trying not to be.
Mhm.
Yes. I appreciate in a purport the part where Srila Prabhupada said, evolution of comfort. What did he say? I really like that part. Advancement of material comfort of the body is activity in a mode of ignorance. And that's very interesting. I never read it that way, advancement of comfort, and that's so much what the modern society is about, making everybody comfortable. So much so that now there's a pill for everything. Like as soon as people are uncomfortable, there is a pill for it. It's like discomfort is almost unacceptable in our society now. Discomfort.
Yeah.
Like any discomfort is frowned upon and not accepted. And I was thinking how in coaching I can really clearly see, I will see myself, that there was the trade, because comfort is in a mode of ignorance. So comfort, yes, being in the front of a TV with some potato chips may be comfortable, but then there is no fulfillment in comfort because it's in a mode of ignorance, and satisfaction comes from sattva. And so in sattva, the base of sattva is austerity and sacrifice. So that's, I really love that. Yeah. Thank you for your class. It was really fun enlivening class.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate the point of how liberating it is to just accept like, oh yeah, I'm not the pinnacle of this, like, yeah, I'm not the pinnacle of all of modern advancement and the American dream and yeah, I really, for me, it's so clear how this advancement of material comfort is in the mode of ignorance, because I see so much, how much we desperately try to manufacture comfort, to get rid of all the side effects of just life. And it creates so much more suffering. Like really, like it just creates more suffering. It's so obvious how all the things, just even on an external level, like little things to, make drinking out of a cup easier. Like we invent plastic straws and then they just like pollute our rivers, oceans. Yeah, they get moldy and like get us sick, I don't know. But yeah, they kill all these animals and just increase all this pollution. And then, but it's like you can take a look at almost anything that we do to just create more comfort on an external material level. And if you trace it far enough, you can see just where it's creating even more suffering and will ultimately come back to hurt even us. So,
create more discomfort.
Yeah.
Like a level of discomfort that's so dark in comparison to the level of discomfort that comes from austerity.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Narayan. Thank you so much for class. I was really connected with when you were describing the sharing of how people who do different translations of the Veda, or the Srimad Bhagavatam, or the Bhagavad Gita, how they're kind of altering it and to never take away from Krishna. That really stuck out to me. And in many ways, your class is very present with me right now. Both what you said about karmis, like pointing the finger out, or having this idea of what a karmi is and how I'm not that. And how specifically it applies to myself is something that I've discovered yesterday, something that David echoed to me during the Sattva of Advanced, is how much I've been hiding this creeper of self-doubt this limitation in myself behind my bhakti practice. And especially that phrase, never take away from Krishna has really stuck with me. I'm doing some interviews. I'm doing an interview coming up, and I have to negotiate money. I have to negotiate what I want my salary to be. And my initial thought is, of course, I don't want to be a karmi. I don't want to, because it's a significant amount of money that is being proposed. And I'm like, I don't want to be a karmi. I don't want to be this, that's not me. I don't want to just, enjoy and take money and do this stuff. So instantly my choice was to go for like the lower end or the middle end of what was being negotiated. And your phrase, never take away from Krishna, like really stuck out for me in this sense, because like, if I wasn't meant to be there, it's like never take away from Krishna, always serve Krishna, always worship Krishna with everything. Like Krishna is offering me an opportunity. Is offering me an opportunity where I can be a good steward of Lakshmi. And use it in his service. Like I don't know what the purpose is, but if I'm constantly focusing on, I really like that. Never take away from Krishna. It's I could see how my creeper of doubt, my mind telling me, oh, you don't have the experience. You never, for you, that kind of money, like how, but the thing is, like, I wouldn't even know what to do with it, yet Krishna's offering me this opportunity. So thinking of like, how can we, like you were saying, how can we enjoy prasadam? How can we enjoy eating? How can we, use our service in a way that elevates us so that we are just serving Krishna? That's so like powerful for me, because I do the opposite. I try to hide away behind doubt, not, Hare Krishna Saraswati. So yeah, it's very present with me. I appreciate that so much. Going into this thing tomorrow, going out of town and doing this thing, I will remember that in my mind. Never take away from Krishna, and just to be a good steward of Lakshmi and to serve him is very inspiring for me. So I just want to thank you for that.
Yeah, it sounds like it opened up new possibilities for you. It's like, sounds like you were feeling really kind of limited and maybe Krishna. Use the opportunity to serve. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't hear as very much of that, but yeah, I mean, the idea is, wherever Krishna and Arjuna is, that's where victory is, and I don't want to I don't want to be the version of me that's running away to the forest because some whatever devotee or whatever. I think I want to be like the Arjuna on the battlefield, like just crushing it, and not shying away from doubt, from all these, weeds in my heart, and to recognize like Krishna wants me here. He would not have sanctioned me to be here. So let me like give to him for his joy. Let me work really, really hard, and then, just offer everything to him. But it's something that's so simple that Prabhupada says, but it only like manifested for me when I had to face like tangible things that like real, I don't know, a real very present situation that I almost failed at it. So I'm very enlivened by what you're saying, and this notion to always endeavor with determination from Krishna, for Krishna. Yeah, thank you so much.
Right. Yeah. I hear it's very different to like philosophize about yukta vairagya and like dovetailing things for Krishna and like serving in that way when we don't have the thing right there. But I hear it's been very real for you to have like this money, and it's been a challenging thing happening, and it sounds like you're getting to a place of like real inspiration and connection to the essence of service in that way of renouncing by honoring Krishna through serving him with that Lakshmi, and that it sounds like that's freeing for you.
Yeah, very much. Not looking at the paradigm, karmi or not karmi. It's like, what will help Krishna, and how can I just stay there in that space when I'm faced with these people and Monday and all these things? How can I not see like karmi, not karmi, all these like boxing things and boxing people, and just to really be in that, to be in contract, to be in contract for Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like, maybe those distinctions can be helpful at some point, but it sounds like you feel like you've been going to it in a way that creates a duality that's maybe avoiding responsibility, kind of maybe blaming, and to really embrace the situation and to serve Krishna. It sounds like that equates to taking personal responsibility for that experience.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Narayan. Thank you for your class. In about 2 hours, I'm scheduled to lead a class and discussion organized by Anandini and Paramatma Prabhus in Switzerland, and the topic is Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm thinking to just take the recording of what you said and just play the recording, because I was complete satisfied, and I don't really have anything to add. So, and I will say something at my class, but I'm very enriched and inspired. I'll probably just repeat a whole lot of what you just said. So thank you. And yeah, I don't know the details of George's interview with whatever this medical healthcare institution, but I do know on behalf of Prabhupada, I do say with full 100% confidence, the more money from this healthcare institution that goes to George, the more money that goes to George, the better.
Yeah.
I just say that with absolute certainty. I don't know what the salary negotiations are like that, because wherever else they give the money, it's money, and whatever they give to George, it's Lakshmi. So that's an absolute principle. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your wonderful appreciation. And yeah, I'm just repeating mostly things I've heard you say and other devotees. So I guess the cycle is complete. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Narayan. Can you hear me? Thank you for the class. I just wanted to express that, like what I really got out of the class today was experiencing your conviction and faith in what you were speaking about. And it was like so, like you had a really grounding, simple faith. I experienced you as grounded and simple and faithful. And it made me feel like so much relief. Like I can just trust. I can just relax and surrender and trust this path and trust Srila Prabhupada and these authorities that we are learning from as the absolute truth. And it's really like relieving. And anyway, so being in your association was really like relieving for me and inspiring. So thank you.
I hear your inspiration, your growing confidence and trusting the process and letting yourself be where you're at and just trusting faithfully in the process. Yeah, I'm honored that I can be a small part in that. Thanks for sharing your appreciation. Hare Krishna. Would anyone anyone else like to share something before we go? Kara writes via message, a lot of takeaways for me this morning. Thank you for class. Thank you, Kara. Okay, thank you everybody. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.